The Russians and the Belarusians are running drills for the deployment of nuclear weapons. We're talking about 40,000 troops from Poland and Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia running drills on the border because they're afraid that exactly what we've been warning of, that Putin is going to use the land that he gets in eastern Ukraine as a springboard for the next fucking invasion. Baltics mentioned, but at what cost? Hi, I'm Chris Valenti. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. And a quick reminder, this is real independent journalism. I have no funding. I've never had a conversation with an advertiser, billionaire, or a government. So if you do want to donate to the channel and help with the grassroots funded organization that is Valenti Videos, you can click the thanks button down below to donate. You could buy merch down below, the Democratic Socialist poster. You can become a member on YouTube by clicking the join button for $5. You can become a patron on Patreon for $5. And you can use 40% off discount code for Ground News located down below. But without further ado, let's just dive right into this horrifying story. Poland and Baltics to hold drills for 40,000 troops amid Russo-Belarusian war games. Around 40,000 troops from Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia are to take part in military exercises at the same time as Russia and Belarus hold what will be closely watched joint drills in September, a Lithuanian general has said. Little burp there, sorry about that. I want to scroll to the bottom here to show you something scary. So, Belarusian Defense Minister Vitor Krenin said earlier this month that the drills with Russia would include practice planning for the deployment of nuclear weapons. Now, if I'm being honest, the Russians are kind of all bark, no bite. I mean, I don't think the Russians are actually stupid enough to use a nuclear weapon. I think the only nation on earth that is stupid and selfish enough to ever launch a nuclear weapon would probably be Israel, considering they're like a fucking nation of genocidal maniacs. But you never know with Putin, considering he's a fucking nutcase. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier this year warned that Russia could use its upcoming large-scale maneuvers as cover for an attack on one of its neighbors. Despite repeatedly denying any malicious intent at the time, Moscow used its last such drills in 2021 as a cover to build up troop numbers along Ukraine's borders in preparation for its full-scale invasion in February 2022. Lithuania's Chief of Defense General Raimundas Vaiksnoras on Friday told Lithuanian public broadcaster LRT that the war games by Poland and the Baltic states would be larger in terms of personnel and capabilities than the long-planned rival Zapad exercises. The former drills are to take place across all 4 of the NATO member states involved, which all share land borders with either Russia, Belarus, or both. Vaiksnoras added that the scale of the war games would be enough to counter provocations from Minsk and Moscow, but added that such provocations were not likely, LRT reported. What the fuck is going on in Europe, dogs? Yo, dog. Yo, Europe. Get your fucking shit together. Here's my thing. I understand, like, this is exactly what happens when you allow Vladimir Putin to come to Alaska and you know, chum with Trump and giggle and have lunch, you know, and you say, hey, what if we give you 20% of Ukraine? We'll give you Eastern Ukraine. We'll give you Luhansk. We'll give you Donetsk. We'll give you the Donbass. We'll give you the Zaporizhia regions. This is what happens because Putin is like an attack dog. He's like a vicious dog. And what he did was he bit Ukraine, right? And Trump, instead of fucking hitting the dog, he's giving him a treat. He's going, if I give you this treat, will you let go? And the dog is going to go, yeah, I'll let go for the treat. And he's going to let go, and he's going to take the treat, and then he's going to learn. And he learned, wait a minute. When I bite, I get treats? Why did I keep on biting? Which is exactly what the fuck he's doing. This is exactly what he did with Crimea. Took Crimea when Obama was a fucking president, right? Without one life lost, which I don't even think is true. And Obama fucking bent the knee and was like, you're not going to take anything else, right? And he was like, no, I won't take anything else. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And he set up Crimea as a springboard. You know, the same way that Putin is using Belarus as a springboard for the invasion in Ukraine. Hey, Chris, European here. What's going on is we elected leaders who sold out to the major nuclear powers. Yeah, no, you're right. Listen, I'm all for denuclearization, and, you know, like, I'm a UN delegate for denuclearization. I think nukes are bad. But at the end of the day, I mean, Russia would not have been attacking Ukraine if Ukraine still had a fucking nuclear arsenal. All right. EU closely monitoring Zapad 2025. The EU Commission said last month that it would be, quote, closely monitoring the Zapad drills and warned of potential Moscow-sanctioned cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns in conjunction with the exercises. Zapad 2025 is scheduled to run from September 12th to 16th in regions across Belarus and Russia, with Lithuania estimating that around 30,000 troops will participate. The Belarusian defense minister, Vitor Krenin, said earlier this month that the drills with Russia would include practice planning for the deployment of nuclear weapons. The Zapad exercises between the armed forces of Russia and Belarus have been held every few years since 2009, with the last iteration taking place in 2021. Although Belarus does not take part in active fighting in Ukraine, it acted as a springboard, this is exactly what I just told you, from which Russia launched its invasion and continues to provide Russian President Vladimir Putin with diplomatic support. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Israel has begun the full and final conquering of Gaza, starving the people of Gaza City and just fucking full-scale invasion to take back all of the land while they prepare for the Greater Israel Project, in which they'll have to invade Jordan and Syria and Iraq, maybe even fucking Egypt. And then in the United States, we have Trump deploying the National Guard on our own civilians, while 4,500 United States Marines and like 3 to 5 warships have been deployed in Venezuela to take out the cartel, which is just the government of Venezuela. And it has nothing to do with the cartel and everything to do with the fact that Venezuela has the largest oil deposit in all of South America. Not to mention the gold, which Trump seemingly loves, if you've seen the fucking White House. What the fuck is going on this goddamn shithole of a planet? I love this planet, but fuck humanity. It pisses me off sometimes. Now listen, this drill happens relatively often. It's not the craziest thing in the world. What's crazy, though, is that Putin is getting validity. Putin, rather than being ostracized by the rest of the world, he's being propped up by the United States of America. I mean, Donald Trump is quoting the guy. Donald Trump is using his advice for elections. Y'all need to flock here to New Zealand. We're safe. We have weed. And we like humans on Earth. Yeah, you say that now until you got American refugees piling up on your border. And you're like, wait a minute, you can't bring your guns. And we're like, fuck you, Maine! Anyway, if you're watching this live, you stay. We're going to keep going. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Do me one last favor. Click that video over there. It's a banger. And I know bangers.